Homer and Marge are heading out and leaving Lisa in charge of Bart. But things go horribly wrong. Bart ends up with a dislocated shoulder and loses consciousness. It all started because Lisa really wanted to be a babysitter. She just loved the sense of responsibility. She even had Moe help her put out an ad. Right after she got home, there was a knock at the door. It was their neighbor, Ned Flanders. His wife and mother had been taken hostage by terrorists while traveling abroad. Even though the embassy said it was just a routine kidnapping, Ned still had to head to the capital to sort it all out. He asked Homer to watch his kids, but Homer, of course, didn't want to do it. He even lied and said Marge had been kidnapped. But when Lisa heard there were kids to look after, she jumped right in and offered to help. When Lisa got to the Flanders house, she had to get the two boys to bed. Luckily, they were both very well behaved. Lisa got them to sleep in no time. When Ned got back, he was so impressed with how peaceful they were. He promised to recommend her to everyone. Soon, the chief of police called her to watch Ralph. Late that night, Bart was woken up by a car. It turns out Lisa had also been sitting for Dr. Hibbert. Everyone was thrilled with her work, and she was making a lot of money. Bart couldn't believe it. He thought getting paid just to watch TV and eat snacks was a total steal. But Lisa reminded him that she was trading her time and energy for that cash. Bart just brushed it off. He said he'd never do that kind of work. Anyway, tonight was the grand opening of the new waterfront shops, so most of the town was going to be there. That meant no one would be home with the kids. Bart asked if Grandpa was coming over, but Marge said that based on Lisa's recent track record, she was more than capable of watching Bart. Bart was outraged. He's 2 years and 38 days older than her. How could she be the one in charge? But Homer and Marge didn't have time for his complaints and hurried out. So the stage was set. The real show for the night was about to begin. Lisa was confident, saying she'd take great care of him, but Bart was thinking she was doomed. At dinner, Bart kept making Lisa pile more beans onto his plate. He kept asking for more until it was a mountain. Then, he said it looked too gross to eat and demanded dessert. Lisa told him if he didn't want a babysitter, he shouldn't act like a baby. Bart took that literally. "Oh, I'll be a baby then," he said, and started acting like one. Lisa had no choice but to play along. Bart made a huge mess, which scared Maggie and made her cry. Lisa pointed out he was upsetting her, but Bart said he knew how to fix it. He gave her some ice cream and she finally stopped crying. But then Lisa noticed it was coffee flavored and full of caffeine. She knew she was in for a long night. Sure enough, Maggie went totally hyper. No matter how much Lisa tried, she couldn't calm her down. Then she went to check if Bart was in bed. Instead, she found him on the phone, ordering a massive sub sandwich with extra vinegar and calling for emergency meetings. When Lisa tried to drag him to bed, he refused to cooperate, calling it nonviolent resistance. Then the doorbell rang. A giant vinegar-soaked sub was delivered to the house. The total was $50. Lisa was shocked. She never ordered any of this. Then the bell rang again. It was Bart's hero, Krusty the Clown. Lisa asked what he was doing there. Krusty said he heard there was a party. Lisa told him he had the wrong house, but those 2 laughs weren't free. He wanted $50. Suddenly, an ambulance pulled up. They had a report of someone passing out. Lisa immediately realized who was behind all this. Before she could even get mad, the police arrived to check on a report she had filed. Lisa insisted she hadn't found anything, and they told her she'd better not be lying. Things were spiraling out of control. Someone even showed up to pick up the ambassador of Ghana. Lisa finally snapped. "He's not here. No one is here. You've all been tricked," she screamed. Once everyone left, Lisa fumed at Bart. "Just wait until Mom and Dad get home. Go to bed now." Bart pretended to listen, but when Lisa went upstairs, he wasn't. In his room, he was jumping on Lisa's bed. She tried to get him back to his own room, but he kept taunting her. The more she chased him, the faster he ran. Suddenly, Bart lost his balance and took a nasty tumble down the stairs. He hit the floor hard and was out cold. Lisa panicked, realizing she was in big trouble. When Bart finally came to, he acted like he was fine despite a huge bump on his head. But then Lisa saw that his arm looked broken. Bart was shocked, though he thought it looked kind of cool. Lisa wanted to go to the hospital, but Bart wasn't in a hurry. He wanted to wait so the parents could see what a great job she did. Meanwhile, Homer and Marge were wandering around the pier. Homer accidentally stepped over a water fountain. Marge watched from a distance as Homer got trapped in the middle of the spray. Every time he tried to step out, a jet of water blocked his path. A crowd gathered to laugh at his ridiculous predicament. Homer begged them to stop. "I used to be like you, laughing at others," he cried out back at home. Lisa was trying to get Bart to open his door. He refused and started banging his head against the door to make the bump even bigger. Lisa demanded he stop immediately. Then suddenly Bart went silent. Lisa got worried and climbed through the window. From the next room over, she found Bart unconscious on the floor. She rushed downstairs to call emergency services, but before she could even explain, they told her they were done with her pranks for the night. They hung up on her, left with no other choice. She looked for Dr. Hibbert's number, but as she found it, she started to hesitate. If she called him, the truth about tonight would come out, and her reputation as a babysitter would be ruined forever. Not only that, her mom would be so disappointed in her. Her life would basically be over. She couldn't let that happen. Then she saw Dr. Nick's number, which promised total confidentiality. That was exactly what she needed. She loaded Bart into a wheelbarrow, thinking if she could just get him treated, everything would be okay. But Maggie was making things even more difficult, so she ended up putting the baby in a cat carrier. When they finally reached Dr. Nick's clinic, it was packed. Lisa saw an old man and begged him to let her skip the line because Bart was hurt so badly. But he was in a hurry too. Another guy told Lisa she had to get in the wheelbarrow line instead. Lisa looked over and saw a huge line of people. She realized she wasn't getting in anytime soon. On her way, Lisa gets pulled over by the chief. He says, "Isn't this the best nanny of the spring?" Lisa goes up and asks how he's doing. Even though it's a bit of a weird question, the chief kindly reminds her to stay safe on the road. He says goodbye and heads off. Just as Lisa breathes a sigh of relief, the chief suddenly says, "Wait a second, let me see that wagon." Lisa thinks she's doomed, but as the flashlight slowly sweeps over the wagon, the chief realizes Lisa's wagon is a Yard King. Apparently that brand makes top-notch wagons, so the chief just walks away. Since the chief didn't spot Bart, where did he go? Lisa looks back and sees that Bart has actually rolled right down the hill. Lisa frantically pushes the wagon and rushes down, stopping right in front of him. Lisa feels terrible and wishes this was all just a nightmare. Suddenly, the lights flash on. The mayor announces to everyone, "Behold the grand opening." And there is Lisa, standing there in the bright lights. Maud thinks Lisa is trying to murder Bart. Lenny is convinced Lisa is trying to hide the body. Mel even thinks Lisa won't even spare the baby in the cage. It's absolute chaos. Lisa is dazed by the spotlights. People start shouting that she must be on drugs and demand she hand them over. Lisa cries out, "I'm not on drugs, I was just trying to." Marge sees Bart's broken arm and is heartbroken. Dr. Hibbert steps up to check the shoulder. It's dislocated, plus he has a huge bump on his head. Everyone blames Lisa for Bart's injuries. Once the doctor makes his diagnosis, there's no way for Lisa to clear her name. In the end, Lisa's babysitting career is officially over. Later, Bart goes to Lisa's room. Lisa asks how his arm is doing. Bart doesn't think it's a big deal. Now that he's calmed down, Bart apologizes for being so reckless and ruining Lisa's career. Lisa lets go of her grudge and says she's moved on to selling seeds. As they say goodbye, the phone rings. Lisa calls herself the world's worst babysitter, but it's actually Dr. Hibbert on the line. He wants Lisa to babysit tonight. Lisa asks, "Are you sure you can trust me?" Even though Hibbert is a bit worried. Good sitters are hard to find, and he can't miss his judo class tonight. Then another call comes in. Lisa switches over, and it's her neighbor, Ned Flanders. He asks if Lisa is free tonight. Lisa asks, "Haven't you heard what happened last night?" Flanders actually has no clue, so he turns to ask the person next to him. Interestingly, this episode was once used by a law professor at the University of Stirling to discuss the issues with children looking after other children. Essentially, it was used as a teaching case study. The main point was that even if a child is very capable of babysitting, there's no guarantee that other children will respect their authority. This episode captures that problem perfectly. The root of all the trouble is the book Lisa is reading, called The Twin Sitters. This is likely a parody of the classic American book series, The Babysitter's Club. That series is about a group of middle school girls who start a babysitting club. It follows them as they handle childcare challenges while also touching on family and social issues. The title of this episode, My Sister, My Sitter, is likely a play on the movie My Sister, My Love. There are a lot of details and Easter eggs hidden. On the street where Homer and Marge go for their night out, the Urban Turban clothing store is a parody of the American brand Urban Outfitters. What's funny is that the animators just added one letter to Urban Outfitters to turn it into Urban Turban. With just one letter it goes from modern fashion to traditional wear. They even drew a hilariously massive turban for the entrance. Behind it, there's a knife shop called It's a Great Knife. The name is a nod to the classic movie It's a Wonderful Life, since the titles sound so similar. Next, the couple passes a waffle shop. The name is a clear spoof of Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, turned into Much Ado About Muffins. The next parody isn't just about the name. The Bad Foot Zone storefront style is a spoof of the old Banana Republic stores, especially with the neon signs and those big palm trees. Why the old store design? Because the company was bought out by Gap, one of America's largest clothing brands. After the buyout, Banana Republic became a luxury brand, and they ditched the whole safari theme. It's a bit of a shame. Finally, that giant planet is a clear parody of Planet Hollywood. Now, Bart mentions he's 2 years and 38 days older than Lisa, but in a previous episode, Bart says his birthday is April 1st. If that's the case, Lisa's birthday would have to be May 9th, but wait, in another episode, we see Marge gave birth to Lisa during the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. Those Olympics were held from July 28th to August 12th. I once analyzed that Lisa was born during the women's 100-meter butterfly, which would be August 2nd, 1984. Didn't we just say her birthday was in May, so the timeline doesn't match up? What's going on? Well, it's that old conversation again. Since The Simpsons has so many different writers and directors, and these 3 episodes were written by 3 different people, the dates and locations aren't always perfectly consistent. As long as it works for the specific episode, they roll with it. No big deal. The most important thing is the story. Also, there's a weird moment where everyone in the hospital line is sitting down, except for Smithers. He's just standing there looking embarrassed. Could it be that he has hemorrhoids? It's a common enough issue, and it fits the private treatment theme of the hospital. Just a guess, though. There's another strange point in the wagon line. We can see a guy pulling a drunk Barney, the town scientist, and his monkey, and even comic book guy. So what's weird? Well, Professor Frink was just in the hospital, but when Lisa is found by the crowd, Frink is suddenly there on the scene with no injuries. How is that possible? Could it be a clone he created? Maybe the real Frink was too busy with an experiment, so he sent a clone to the opening ceremony. But then the original Frink had an accident and went to the private hospital to avoid being seen. What do you think of that theory? Seems pretty plausible to me. It definitely wasn't an animation error. Finally, I hope you'll give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone. Tomorrow is the Dragon Boat Festival, so I wish you all a healthy and happy holiday. That's it for today's breakdown. See you next time.